Thank you, D. Mark, and first off, thank you, everyone. Really appreciate this opportunity for us to have a platform for our program, for our high school athletics, and for the young people in this state. All the sponsors, everyone who has a part in this, it's always great to watch. Even as a coach and our players, we watch all the coaches and teams that come before. It's real enjoyment. So we really appreciate all the hard work and the planning that goes into this. Because, that's what high school athletics is all about, is promoting our young people and giving them an opportunity to be successful. First off, the kind of the state of our program, really pleased with our guys. As everyone that's come before me has said, this has been a real unique summer. A lot of differences, that we've had to do, a lot of hurdles we've had to jump over. But, we're to the point where we'll do whatever we got to do to play football on August 20th. So saying that, one of the mottos that we've always said since I've been there is to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And we've had to do a lot of that since shutdown back in March, and then we were having the opportunity to come back in summer. So the resiliency and the overcoming adversity these guys have been able to do this summer, I'm extremely proud of them. Not just these guys, all across the state, the coaches, and everybody who's been a part of this rhetoric of doing what it takes for us to be able to play high school football and give these kids an opportunity to do that. There's not been a lot of negative talk. And that's what it's been. It's been, we will do whatever it takes for our kids to be able to play. And it's like Coach Savarese said yesterday, standing right here, is, for our kids to get their childhood back. And that's what we want more than anything. So that's what we're planning. Each and every day we're planning to be playing football and to start football August 20th, with our first game against a team that we haven't played in 17 years, I believe. And that's Tallahassee High School. It's a huge rivalry for us. It's a really, really big game. It's the first Thursday night of the year for competition. And there's a lot of build-up going into this game. And of course, first time we hadn't played in 17 years, we got to face a worldwide pandemic. But we're excited to get that game back on the schedule. Got a real good relationship with Coach Battles. This has been in the works for a while, and for us to be able to bring this game back means a lot to our community. I'd say both communities, but the schools are so close, it's really just one community. Some things that are a little bit different this year, we have moved up to 3A. That's the first time in history that Reeltown has made that jump. So we'll be participating in 3A football this year. And what comes with that is a little bit more difficult region play. Also, jumping from 2A to 3A and playing for the state championship last year makes it really tough to schedule football games. So we've got a really tough schedule, and that's at fault for our seniors last year and that team we had last year. So really proud of those guys. They set the bar real high for this group coming back. But got a tough schedule right out the gate, like I said, with Tallahassee. St. James the next week, that's another 4A team. And our other non-region opponent is Hopeful, which is a 5A team at the end of the year, week 10. And in the middle, we got our region games. Of course, we've got Childersburg, Catholic, Goshen, Trinity, Beulah, Dayville, and Pike County. Dayville, of course, has always been a game that we've played every year for a long time. That's a big county rivalry. Now they're in region play, so that adds a little more to that. But we're really excited about our schedule, really excited about this coming year. As I've said, last year's team really set the bar high. Super proud of those guys. That was a special group. That was a group that were freshmen when I came to Reeltown a few years ago. So they really developed and have really led this team in the right direction. Saying that, our senior class this year just continued to carry the torch. This has been, I think, a lot of it has to do with the shutdown, but I would think that a lot of it has to do with our leadership and the way that our summer has went so far with these seniors that I have with me today and the ones that aren't with us today. They've continued to lead and carry that torch in a positive direction. It's been one of the best summers we've had as far as work ethic, excitement, and the energy's been up. I think everybody's just tired of being around each other. We want to see somebody else and play some football and hit somebody. But with me today, this is 4 seniors, all leaders in our program. Each and every single one of them have done something. They have their own unique way of leading our team, and it's a massive impact to our locker room and when we take the field. I've got Johnny Brown over here. Johnny is all four of these guys are going to play both sides of the football. Johnny's a defensive back. He's a corner. He's got a lot of speed. He's long. 2 years ago, he was our leading receiver with receptions and yards. Last year, he was number 2 on the team in receiving. Of course, Eric Shaw graduating and being at South Carolina, expecting some big things out of Johnny Brown. He's a guy that we can move around and we'll try to get the ball to. L.J. Hill, he's a staple on both sides of the football as well, offense and defensive line. He's one of the strongest or the strongest players that we have in the weight room this summer, and he really embraces that role. These guys love the weight room, and as you can tell, and really expecting some big things out of LJ. He leads both sides of the front, offense and defensive line, and as you know, the type of football that we play and anybody plays, that's where it's won is up front. So we really put a lot of stock in that and a lot of pride, and offense and defensive line is where the majority of our experience is going to come from. So we're really going to lean on those guys a lot. Over here to my left is Logan Lee. Logan's been a guy that we've put all over the place. Offensively, we've put him at outside receiver. He's played some inside receiver. He's played fullback. He's played what we call our wire. Some people call it a sniffer or plug. And then defensively, he's been playing outside linebacker for us. He's a starter on both sides of the football last year and did a lot of big things for us. He's also a huge leader for us and really expecting a lot of big things out of Logan. He's also in competition right now. We got a real good competition at quarterback. So he's also in that mix. And on my far left is Will Brooks. He had to deal with some injuries last year midway through the season, but he came along and really was a good player for us. Played a lot of reps. Was big in special teams and also came in, played a lot of inside linebacker, outside linebacker. He just kind of fit all the modes, and I told him this year, hey, once again, you're going to have to learn every bit of it. So he's someone that's come in. He's playing a little bit of tight end for us. We can stick him at fullback some. We can play him at any one of our linebacker positions. He's somebody else who's also a leader. And these four guys, they lead the right way. Everybody's a leader, but they lead in the right way, and that's on and off the field and in the classroom. They really carry these guys in the right direction. So I'm real proud of them. I'm very proud to be at Reeltown High School and the community that we have, and it's just a blessing to be able to be around these young people every single day. And wish we could do it back in the spring so we know a little bit more of what we got, but the situation we're in, we're really looking forward to starting this season. So at this time, I'll take any questions for these young men.
Coach, I'd like to ask you a question. Last year you got your first dose of the Super 7, and I know being a part of that and helping you and your guys, it was a thrill. They always say the second time's a little better. Give us a little what you're thinking because, hey, you went last year. Does that put extra pressure on you? Kind of how do you approach this year knowing, hey, we played for it last year?
Right, and that absolutely, that's correct. We played for it last year. That was big to be a part of that for the first time as a head coach. And those guys and what they were able to accomplish last year was huge because there was a lot of overcoming adversity for those guys. So lots of, they deserve all the recognition that they've got. But we also have to understand this year's team that we're not last year's team. So we're going to be different. Things are going to look different. The goals are still the same. We attack every single day. Our motto, we're all in and it's level up. And so every day is just attacking that day. We're going to move forward to get to the state championship. There's a lot of things that has to happen. There's a lot of things that had to happen for us last year. Once you get in the playoff, anything could happen. But, that's not something that we talk about a lot. We don't talk about state championships. We talk about doing what we have to do when we come in each and every day to exponentially become the best player that we can be for Reeltown High School every day we enter that locker room. So our belief is if we do that, then everything else will take care of itself.
Matt, you mentioned how tough it was to not have a spring and to kind of know more about, your group, and especially with quarterback, given that you didn't have a spring, but looking up to through the summer when you're looking at different quarterbacks specifically, what are some of the things that you can look at and kind of gauge as far as, getting a feel for that battle and seeing who kind of is standing out?
Right. Well, in the summer we spend majority of June is just on fundamentals. We don't do a lot of install in June typically, but as you said, you know, without a spring, all the plans have to change a little bit. So you're implementing schemes, you're having to do new things with new players and whatnot. So the scheme has changed a little bit. We don't have a Cameron Faison out there running a 4-3 or Rasheed Wilson or Eric Shaw that's 6'5" and at South Carolina. So some things are different. The way we approach, you know, our schemes on both sides of the football has to change. So at the quarterback position, that's a good question, because majority of what we do, there's a lot of footwork that's a little bit different, and there's a lot of time that has to go in those fundamentals. So it's getting to a point, and with these guidelines, it's trying to be creative and figure out how we can get, you know, a quarterback, running back mesh, how we can work 7-on-7 and have a defense over there, and at the same time doing what we have to do to stay safe. So we've had to be creative with it and maximize our reps and maximize our time. There's been a lot of chalk talk on the board and a lot of teaching, but I feel like that we've narrowed it down. We've got, you know, 3 or 4 guys back there that are maximizing their reps, and we've got a couple that's kind of come to the top, and it's going to be real exciting. I feel real comfortable there.
Question for all 4 of the players, so y'all can just take turns. But, you know, with Dadeville coming up and now being in y'all's region, that's a big rivalry. What does that rivalry mean to you in general? And is there something a little extra knowing that it could determine the playoffs this year?
Well, for us, it's really, we just take it game by game. We really wouldn't really focus on just being a rivalry. It's just like, it's for the fans, so we're just going for the next game. That's all it is.
For us, I really don't focus on the opponent. I focus on me and the team, you know, just take it day by day. Like Will said, I really don't just focus on us and our game and get better every day.
Yeah, it's just like they said, and yeah, we try to work with us. Like, we try to get better at us. We don't focus on the opponent, but Dadeville game's always a fun game, and it's going to be for homecoming this year. So, and it's late in the season, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, mainly they said everything. So we just gonna focus on ourselves, show up to play, all gas, no break, and just work, keep working.
The first time in 17 seasons you play Tallahassee. Same question, whoever wants to jump up. There's got to be a little extra motivation for that game, I know.
It's been a minute since I played Tallahassee. The last time I played them, I was in Little League. But about this, I'm not focusing on Tallahassee. I'm focusing on my team. I know it's going to be a good game. It's going to be the atmosphere is going to be there, but it wouldn't change me or my team, because I know, like the championship or Leroy game, the atmosphere was there, so we wouldn't fold in that situation. But I know it's going to be a good game, and I expect us to step up.
Question for Logan, given that you're one of the guys competing for quarterback, just through the offseason, what are some things that you feel like you've done to try to, you know, set yourself apart as you go for that battle?
Well, both of us, or all of us that are going for quarterback, you know, we all try to do what coaches tell us to do, and we try to get better, and it don't really matter. We don't care who's going to be quarterback. We just want to we want to be the best for the team, so it really don't matter.
A question for Coach. You know, we talked about Cameron Faison, how good he was at running back, but he was also such a good defensive back for you guys. You mentioned Johnny. Who are some of the other guys in the mix in the secondary that you guys are excited about?
Right. Well, as I mentioned earlier, you know, up front, offense and defensive line, that's where our most experience is, and that's where we feel like we really got to lean on. But On the defensive side of the football, defensive line, obviously, like I just said, but probably number two is secondary, or either a 1A, 1B type thing. Our secondary, we really feel good about it. We've got, even though we're replacing a lot, you know, Cameron Faison, like you said, is an unbelievable athlete. You can't replace a Cameron Faison. You can't replace a Rasheed Wilson. So we can't replace those guys, but we've got guys that are stepping up, may have a different skill set. Johnny Brown he was a starter last year at cornerback. We've got Marcus Haynes, who's a long young man who moves really well and really understands our scheme and understands what we want to do. We've got Gabe Bryant, Zantuan Knight, Zy Collins, Markevius Smith. All those guys have got quality reps in those positions on the defensive side of the football and in the defensive backfield. Along with that, we've got a Coach Solomon, who coaches our defensive backs, is as attentive to detail as anybody we've got on staff. So the job that he does, along with our schemes, these guys, it's been the same for 4 to 5 years. So they understand what we're asking them to do, and that's a really good question, because we are missing a lot, and we lost a lot to graduation at that position. But I'm really excited to see what our secondary is going to do.
What has all the attention that the players got last year done for Reeltown? I know you get exposure, the school gets exposure, college coaches come in.
That's a good question. We've got 4 guys that signed athletic scholarships to go on to the next level and play collegiate football. And each one of them's in a different situation right now. We've got some that's NAIA, some Division III, some Division I, some in JUCO. So their seasons are just all mixed up. But I stay in real close contact with those guys, because they did a phenomenal job carrying themselves on and off the field. And you got guys like that who do that on the field and do their job as well as off the field. They're going to get attention. You know, everybody's got good football players, but it's that combination of all of that that get the exposure and the attention. So we made a lot of road trips, went all over the nation last year, and extremely proud of those guys and what they've brought to our program. So it does give exposure to our program. You meet a lot of people and a lot of contacts with different colleges and universities that does nothing but help these guys out. These upcoming guys, you know, now we've got people who come in and out every day that they're able to, and I talk to a lot of guys every day that are interested in Reeltown football.